We're trying to find something that looks great. There's not a lot of signage on that road up and down, hardly at all. This will really dress up the area and really help with the investment that he's made in the area. So I just plead with you guys that hopefully we can resolve this and go with this sign today.
Okay. Anyone have any questions for him? Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, anyone else here to speak on the matter? Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing and open it up for discussion or a motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Steve?
I think the one thing we do have here is a perfect example of staff working with an applicant, and the applicant appreciate what you did with looking at the signs. I feel a lot better about the 9.75 sign than I did the other one. I think it's more compatible with what we need to have in our downtown. So I would like to make a motion we approve the sign with the 9.75 square foot.
So option 4.
That's option 4. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Certificate of issue. Thanks for working with us, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's ride back to the beach.
Be careful.
Enjoy the salt air.
Thank you again.
Our second case and final case today is case DRB 2026-05. It's a request for a certificate of appropriateness to install window signs at 604 South Irby Street, identified as Florence County Tax Map Number 90088-08-010 in the D1 Redevelopment Overlay District and ISCOD Irby Street Corridor Overlay District. It's the first time we mentioned that one. Staff?
Yeah, that doesn't come up too often. So the applicants are seeking the COA to replace the window signage of a business located at 604 South Irby Street, and it's Anderson Plumbing, located in the redevelopment and the Irby Street Corridor Overlay Districts, and it is zoned Commercial General, which is our most liberal with signage. They're asking to replace the window signage with a slightly larger amount. Right now they've got 10 window signs, and they're adding an 11th window sign. So this, it's located just south of Cedar Street, and it is in the Irby Street Corridor, which is a area of focus that needs some work, being the corridor going into the historic downtown. And so a few years ago, the Irby Street Corridor Overlay District standards were drafted up to help address issues that are specific to that area, because it's kind of a commercial, almost industrial corridor along there. You've had car dealerships and the bus depot and places like that along there. This business is now used as a training and service center and storage center for a plumbing business. It is zoned, as I said, Commercial General, so that whole block is the most liberal commercial for signage and everything else. So this is the current signage. They used to have a sign on the awning. A few years ago, you approved them replacing the awning, and they replaced it with this plain awning without any signage on it. They do have the freestanding sign that you can see in the lower picture, but all their signage is on the windows. And as you can see here, the small window on the far right doesn't have any lettering in it, and a window that's covered up but has no graphics in it isn't considered signage. So this is the proposal for replacing that. So they would be increasing the amount of signage and increasing the graphics as well, and the color contrast and such as that. The amount of signage they're going up to will be 31% of the front facade. In the Commercial General District, wall signage only permits 25% of the front facade to be covered with signage. So this is excessive over what would be allowed if these were wall signs. And the code doesn't really address window signage directly right now, and we actually have taken a proposal to Planning Commission to make window signage required to get a permit and to only cover 25% of any given window that it is on. But that has just been proposed, so that is not what the code says right now. So the standards prohibit reflective or tinted glass windows in overlay districts, that with openness of glazing and transparency being encouraged. Of course, there is none of that with these window signs. Regulations cannot prohibit constitutionally allowed content of signs. So we can't look at the content. We can only look at the location and the amount. And as I said, the code is currently being amended to preserve the intent of the downtown design standards by requiring zoning permits and allowing maximum of the 25% on which is placed. And this is not typically open for customers, so any signage on here is intended more for drive-by traffic. So that concludes staff's report.
Anyone have any questions of staff?
So if you scaled it back 6 or 7%, down to the 25%, I mean, that would, you would be minus what, one window, or?
Probably about that. I'd have to do the math.
And just to highlight the code changes that we're proposing to Planning Commission, would maximize window signage to 25% of an individual window, not of the whole building facade. So it would have to be, scaled down a good bit to meet those guidelines. That Planning Commission did vote last night to recommend that to City Council, but it still has to go through that adoption process. But that's the direction we're headed in, and that's citywide, for commercial signage.
How long would it take that to go through?
It would, if everything goes according to schedule, it would be, it's February, March, April. April, it could potentially go into effect. But they have asked to give a 6-month allowance for businesses that are in the process of doing signage, to, I guess, any projects are in place. 6 months for us to get the word out to individuals through an outreach process. So that would be April, what?
I think it's 90 days.
Is it 90 days? It's 90 days, I'm sorry. So that would be May, June, July. So that's when it would go into effect if everything goes smoothly. But again, that's not in place yet. It's the direction we're headed. But in the downtown district, because the design guidelines play and the character of the area, it's subject to, more scrutiny in this area based on the design guidelines. The underlying zoning doesn't always apply.
And because there is no wall signage, I guess this window signage would be considered the 25% of the wall signage as well. You could look at it that way.
Currently, this is more like 75%, is that right?
31%.
31%.
It looks like it would be a lot more, but
Yeah, it
I
does.
did the math and it was 31
Of the windows or of the building?
of the whole front facade.
Okay, that makes
Okay,
sense
oh, okay,
there.
I got you.
Yeah.
It's a lot more than 30% of the window.
Oh, yeah. No, it was the whole facade.
If we allow a variance to 31%, then everybody's going to start asking for variance. So there's a threshold there. I'm concerned we have that 25 for a reason, and if we start just granting exceptions left and right, I could see that as a problem for other projects.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Ms.
I
Brown.
can tell you, a council member has brought it up to me at one time that they would like it lower than 25. But I think this is something that the timing with what because they will pass it. I mean, planning is going to come, and I think city council will vote for this. So I think if we did something like this, I think you're opening the door for a lot of other people to start putting up a lot of window clean. And I do window clean, but I won't do that. I have in my own limits of what I would do, and I wouldn't do this quality. As they drive by, it just takes people's eyes off the road a lot, too, and content at times that you can't control. So I wonder if there's a way to do this to where they can come back with staff once it's passed, so that we don't delay them what is it, a year if it's voted no?
Right, or you could, drop it down to the 25%, or just keep it at the, like, and the applicant is here as well.
If it was at 25%, would they even be here today?
Potentially, we look at a lot of elements, color, size, and things of that nature, the character of the area. But if it was smaller in size, I think we could have potentially administratively approved it if it was scaled appropriately. If it was 25% of the window, not the whole entire facade there.
And we don't have any ruling or judgment on verbiage, correct? Okay.
Right.
So, okay. Anyone have any other questions of staff? Anyone here to speak on the matter? Just approach the podium and state your name, please.
Hey guys, I'm Marshall Anderson. I'm the owner's son. So I wanted to come today just to clarify one thing I'm open to if the council is that one window that we added. I'm sure my parents would, if that meets the 25% or whatever, I'm sure we could probably drop that window. So they've owned this property for approximately 10 or 11 years, and these original windows were done quite a long time ago. So the idea is to replace what's there and not really change anything, but update it to make it look more appealing because that original vinyl has faded. And another idea with this property in particular is it's right across from the Greyhound bus station. We just had our fence put up maybe 2 years ago and redid the parking lot. And we do have, I wouldn't say an issue, but a small issue with certain individuals sleeping on the front lawn, showing up. Last month, actually, we got it on camera, a guy with a prosthetic limb jumped our fence and was sleeping on our tank truck at 5 in the morning when our first employee came into the building. So an idea with having the signs this way covering the windows is, as she said, it's primarily a storage facility right now. The front part of that building is actually mostly unfinished inside, and with the bus station being directly across the street, I and my parents don't really want anybody to be able from across the street to see what's in that building with the security issues that we've kind of already had. So that's, again, part of the thinking in having the signs the way they are. We're not completely blocking out the windows, and the vinyl, as far as my understanding is aware, is supposed to be the translucent kind that if you get up really close you can see, so that there is light let into the building for people that are in there.
But primarily from the inside you can see out.
Correct.
And they
Correct.
can't, it's hard for somebody to see in.
Correct.
Would you guys be opposed to, say, tinting, a few of the windows, a couple of the windows, and reducing the amount of signage that you have on the windows?
I don't see why not. If we can get into that 25% threshold, and I don't know what the rules are on tinting. I was just kind of instructed, hey, you need to come talk today by our signing contractor. So I don't know what the rules are on tinting the windows, but I know that's something that my parents have said, well, if they don't want us to do the signs, we can tint some of the windows. Because, again, we're looking for people not to be able to see in from the outside. But also, with it being a storage facility, Mr. Steve said it correctly, that the idea is to catch your eye when you're driving by because we don't have foot traffic in and out of there every day. So,
Anyone have any other questions for him? Okay, thanks for your time.
yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing and open it up for discussion or motion.
Are there specific rules on tinting?
I believe as long as it's not reflective,
Yeah.
they can be, just that so that you can't see through them. It's the graphics that are considered signage.
But you could also put up window blinds inside or something which would not be covered by zoning, correct?
Exactly.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Powers?
I kind of like the direction John was going with some of the tinting of the glass instead of all of the window cling. Is this something you could, again, work with the applicant in as far as window clings and window tinting for those standards, or?
I think if the board outlines some recommendations on sizing of the window clings and then coverage for the remainder of the windows, then I think if they bring back a proposal that reflects that, then we could potentially do it without bringing it back to the board.
So do you reduce the window cling vertically, or what are we saying size-wise?
I think, I think you just need to get it down to well, and it's completely up to the board, how small it goes. But, I think it needs to be a percentage of the window opening size, that it's reduced to.
The total window openings?
The total window openings, that's right. And then from there, I guess it's up to obviously the design could make huge impact as to where they place it in the window. I think we would suggest maybe making it lower on a lower, pushing it down to a lower portion, so it's more at an eye level that would accomplish their goals too of having individuals to see it at a correct level. But I think that's part of the design element as to how it's reduced. Whether it's pushed down or pushed up, or how it's designed. It can make a big difference in how it aesthetically looks as well. That might be up to their sign company to figure that out, what works best for them, and still relay their business messaging.
Is that something that they can work with you guys on, or do they need to bring it back to us?
I think that's up to you guys. I think if they bring us, if you guys set up some guidance for us in the form of a motion, then if they meet that guidance, then I think we could potentially do it administratively. But if it's still something we don't feel comfortable with, then we could potentially bring it back. And like the last one, for example, we worked with them, and they finally came back with that last design that we were mostly comfortable with, but because there was not a lot of signage up top, we knew it would set some precedents too. So that's kind of why we wanted the board to look at the different options and see what you guys were comfortable with. So but that's lots of times we get staff can work with them if we have good guidance and they bring back a proposal that's well within that guidance.
If I'm hearing you correctly, I'm
gotta
trying
talk
to
around
word,
a little
I'm
bit.
trying to word this motion, because I think what John mentioned is a great avenue with window tint combined with some window cling. I can tell you how window cling works. If you've got a window that's 8 feet tall, you're going to do an 8-foot cling. So the other way is an actual design that can be incorporated into the building. So I guess what I would do would jump in any time with it, but I think I'd make a motion that instead of voting no on this, I want them to be able to work with staff and come back with a design with combination of window tinting, non-reflective, and window clings that blend more together with the aspects of the building, and hopefully that staff can approve or bring back to the board. This way I think we give them a way to try to accomplish something without just telling no. And I think they're going to need to comply with the new ordinance that's going to come out and it's going to pass, because there's too many people talking about it, and for me to get a call from one of them about it. And
that's
I
at
think
25%?
yeah.
25%. That's what we're proposing right now. Yeah.
Okay.
So if that made any sense at all verbally, then
It makes sense, Molly?
You good, Elaine?
Okay, we have a motion.
I second it.
All in favor? Aye. Certificate to be issued. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Staff have anything they need to address?
No, we're in good shape.
Okay, our next scheduled meeting is March 11th at 2 p.m. Hope y'all have a good week and thanks for your time. We're adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.